Let's see what happens. Yikes.
Least of our worries today.
See if you can pull it back up. See if we got volume now.
I'm doing it right now. You know, I've been really in a Ben's Fold 5 kind of mood today.
Ben's Fold 5? What do you mean?
The band? Ben's Fold 5?
I don't know her.
Good stuff. Live stream has ended.
That one?
Mm-hmm.
Let's check this one. All right, we appear to have audio.
Yeah, hey, I think it's fixed. I think it's my thing being slow now.
It could be. The internet in here is probably also not super great, so we'll see how it works.
Turn my internet off.
Thank you guys for sticking with us. Sorry that that took so long to figure out. We are using slightly new equipment today, not the usual camera that we've got, but hopefully we get that sorted out next week. And yes, the screen is indeed sideways. Do apologize for that. That is also in relation to the different camera that we're using. And we can't seem to figure out the setting for that, so stay tuned, but we really appreciate you guys sticking with us this morning. All righty.
I think.
Also, for those of you who don't know, I have not been on a Tech Tuesday in a hot minute, but they did let me come back, so that's super exciting. I guess I didn't divulge any company secrets the last time, so no rules, no company rules broken. So they let me come back. So we'll see if I can make it another round. We'll see what happens.
That's more of my thing to do, isn't it?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it, honestly.
Yeah. You know, the coffee tastes better in a nice Aces cup.
It does. A limited edition Aces
Super
cup too.
limited edition, yeah.
We do have.
This is Christmas 2 or 3 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah.
We do have other cups on the website, though, if you're interested. They do work really well, and I use mine every day.
Big fan of the tumbler because every time I get one of my guys takes it. Joseph did it.
Just out the man.
Oh, 100%, right here on the live.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can.
I know where his office is.
I'm gonna see if I can fix the settings for the live from here. I don't think I can though. We'll see what happens.
All right, I'm gonna blaze through the live comments right quick. Sorry about the technical difficulties. That was wild. Like I said, like Josh said, new setup. Who dis? Anyways, Bert the C10. Bert the C10. Sorry. Good morning. Good morning to you too as well. Whoa, this is weird. Let's see what we got here.
Is it not pulling up for you? I've also got it here.
It is. I'm going to have to read off of Josh's computer over here. Just a little bit. My phone's being funny. I think it's because I got a timer running in the background and I'm asking too much of this thing. Anyways, we're going to keep it fairly tight this session because we all have lunch breaks to take and 1,000 other things, but we wanted to get to the questions. We're going to read some of the old ones and some of the fresh ones we got coming in right here. So, for instance, Gearhead 1948, hey guys, Killshot 1, is it a problem for something?
Is it a problem? Where to go? Sorry.
Yeah, is it a problem for TPS to be at 0.1 or 0.2 at idle, reset the handheld, it doesn't seem to zero it. Well, the thing is, while it's sitting there running at idle, those blades have a bit of pressure on it, and it's actually just a tiny bit increasing. You don't have to really worry about that until you get to closer to like 2%, where it thinks it's actually cruising down the road. I think the value is actually 1.7. But yeah, if it's at 1, it's at 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, not a big deal. That's just taking the slack out of the linkage, and it's indicating that in the TPS sensor itself. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, no sweat. But we get to a couple percent, and it ups the timing and ups the IAC, and you got a crazy idle, you might want to look into it. That's generally just comes into a reset. And I see a lot of that with people with throttle linkage, like the actual factory cable or the linkage itself actually binding, or your pedal having a weird problem, and it will keep it at a few percent. But yeah, a couple points, not a massive deal. It doesn't even start caring until like 2%. So let's see what we got. Dr. Sharp. This is the one I was trying to answer before the live stream went sideways on us, literally.
Yes.
Got a Fusion. It's all hooked up. Fuel Sump Command Center 2 works. I have 2 cans, one on the high roller and one on the Fusion. I use the one on the Fusion, but what about the box? Well, if you're just using the actual High Roller Classic model, it doesn't. There's nothing really for it to read because it's what I call a dumb firebox, which is the the kill shot's just telling it to trigger, and it does its job. It doesn't have all the smarts and brains of the of the High Roller Pro as it goes. So there's not a lot you can do and set up in that menu. Actually, even the firmware has an extreme limitation in that as well for how much you can really do with it. You can't really adjust anything. You can't really do much. I mean, the firmware is kind of locked in there. So that's why we made the Classic. It made it very, very affordable for people that wants that slightly higher energy output. So even though it has a CAN connection, doesn't mean there's a lot of CAN communication going on there. But if you got a High Roller Pro, you can just plug into it, select system, go to it, and look at all the wonderful settings that we offer for the Pro.
Yep.
This is Charlie. Let's say,
Charlie Easterday
Easter Day.
9715.
Yeah. Any chance of the 8 HP transmission control in the future? The 8 HP is a hot ticket item lately. It's actually, I think, in a lot of the hot rod scene, beating out any other model of transmission that I've been seeing. I actually have a strong interest in it personally. Now, the 8 HP, we have to develop some more technology about our trans control. So we got to handle the Mopar and the Ford 4-speed stuff. We got to look into the 6R and 6L stuff, and then we're going to start looking into the 8-speed stuff because after we build the strategy for the 6-speed, 8-speed is just a finger snap away and a lot of CAN communication. So you may see in the future, if we do it, will probably be more of a piggyback module based off of the factory trans control module, just to control it because it's way easier. And if you know the CAN traffic on that, it does make it easier because you're just kind of interpreting some signals and lying to it in a weird way. So
Do you think that with that, so the current transmission control module we have is going to be the quick draw, which is like for your 4-speed GM transmissions. Do you think when we start adding some of the other 4-speed or the 6-speed, 8-speed stuff, do you think, you mentioned it being like a module that piggybacks off of like the factory controller, would we use the quick draw for that, or do you think people will have to buy a separate module if they want the additional compatibility for those transmissions?
well, that's what we're going to have to research and to figure it out because on the factory stuff, you're using a lot of Continental level software, which takes licenses and agreements and handshakes with manufacturers as it goes because you're dealing with something that is open but also proprietary in a way too. But I'm kind of hoping that we can see 6 and 8-speed stuff in the next year or so because it's kind of that's what's next. There's going to be LT stuff, there's going to be 8 HP stuff, and those things pair together nicely, especially if you're trying to put power to the ground and you want a consistent shift. And if I'm not mistaken, I think on the 8 HP, if you set it up correctly, you can have a factory trans brake in that thing too, just like in the 6L90s and the Camaros, where you can left and right paddle hold the thing and launch it. So done that a few times.
There you go.
Yep.
So potentially, so we'll see what happens.
Yep. I want to see an AHP platform over, I think, any of the 6-speed stuff, honestly. It's a good transmission. You can.
And we've had a lot of customers ask about it at
Well, you can
recent
put 1,000
shows and
horsepower
stuff too.
down. You know, 1,000 horsepower down on a factory setup.
Yeah.
With just a bit of basic tuning. So.
We'll have to see what happens and see what's on the list for 2026. So stay tuned, I guess. Mr. Andy Martinez 5528 asks, what size are the bolts/studs that hold the throttle body on the EFI system? It's the carb-looking setup. So I assume talking about a kill shot or a Deuces Wild setup.
Standard studs, those are like 5/16, like the same ones you can go buy at the auto parts store, the same one that comes on our kit as well. So there's a coarser thread on one end and more of a machine side to it on the other end.
He mentions that his maybe have been missing from the kit. So if it's supposed to come with it, I would say.
It should be in a hardware bag.
Yeah.
There's a little bag, it has a little plastic.
With the gasket, right?
There should be 2 gaskets in one bag, and then there should be a minor hardware kit, which is going to have your boost reference port, it's going to have your plastic tube, it's going to have like a couple random screws, some linkage studs, and then your carb studs with nuts and washers. So if you're missing that, holler at customer support.
Definitely.
They can just go send one out of the warehouse. It's not a massive deal. That happens every once in a while when you're packaging thousands and thousands of items to support your end users, and sometimes we miss a bag of nuts. So.
Yes, sir. We'll try and get you some stickers thrown in there too as well.
Yeah, mention stickers when you talk to them.
Yeah. Alrighty. Mr. Elvis Meeks, Killshot Fusion, when it gets warm at idles, real high, when cold, idles fine. So the idles high when it's warm, when it's cold, it's idling fine.
Killshot Fusion, eh?
Yes, sir.
I wonder what's causing that, because sometimes you end up with an extra air leak when it gets warmer because things move around a little bit with heat.
Mm.
What is at warm idle, what's your IAC setting? Also, make sure that your cold start idle parameters, make sure that that little 1D graph isn't reversed of itself. I haven't seen that, but I've seen it in other folks' systems of instead of it going from high to low and easing the idle down as it gets warmer, it's gone from low to high. So as it warms up, it starts off fuely and weird, and then it ends up lean and hot.
Mm. And isn't there a way that you can, like when you first set up the system, I know you'll typically like set or reset the idle a few times. Is there a way that we can do that with the IAC to reset the position to make sure it's in the, you know what I'm talking about?
When you cycle the key on the IAC, it actually drives itself to its 0 position. So if you just got a fresh startup, you ever get one of these, put it on, you start it up, and it's like 1,400 RPMs, and the TPS is 0, and the timing's doing some wild stuff, and the IAC's doing some wild stuff. It's because the IAC doesn't know its position. So after you cycle the key a couple of times, it eases it back, the pintle back into its bore until it bottoms out, and then it's like, okay, I know exactly where I'm at. That's how you re-zero that.
But that'd be kind of usually just like the first start, right? So if it's
Yes.
an ongoing thing,
Yeah.
it'd be looking at your, what you were talking about.
Yeah, you could have a weird leak. You could have one of the studs loose. Personal thing I've done there recently. Overthought it, overdiagnosed it, realized I needed to tighten everything up.
Makes sense.
Sometimes it's terrible. But yeah, with that, yeah, I kind of wonder what some of the values on your handheld looks like. Wish you could post pictures in this thing. That'd be great.
I know. Well, if we ever figure out how to turn the camera sideways and keep the sound going, if I don't keep getting phone calls during the video, then maybe we can look at submitting photos.
Hey.
Live photos.
This one right here, that's epic.
I know.
You want to read that one?
Yes, sir. From Ezra Dixon 239, got the CTS running by visiting Ken at Hardcore Chassis out of Chatsworth, Georgia. That is awesome.
I actually wanted to go down and see that car, but I was kind of locked to my desk for a little while.
Yeah. Ken's a great guy. He's
We
been one of
love our CTSs around here.
Yes.
Yeah, even one of the R&D team members, his wife drives a CTS V, so it's sick.
There you go.
I want another one. I had a silver one many years ago, and I missed that thing. You got to do Corvette stuff, but you got a Cadillac, so you put a fat cam in it and some headers.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
All right.
Got to let the Mustang guys know.
Yes. Mr. Is this pronounced Jeff or Geoff? I apologize in advance.
Jeff. It's a European Jeff.
That's what I'd say. If I butcher anyone's usernames, I do apologize in advance.
I bet y'all his buddies calls him Geoff, though, because my buddy Jeff, I called him Geoff.
Could be. You never know.
He didn't like that much.
Mr. Jeff says, I recently went through an issue with a bad IAC valve in a Killshot 1. Took a bit to find the right replacement because it is not the same in the others. Is 5 the lowest it goes in the handheld?
It's set for 5, but you can push it much further down. You can push it down to 0 if you want to. 5 is just a good number so that it's not constantly hitting the bore all the time while it's sitting there trying to do its job. So we keep it just a little bit bled open to help stabilize idle, because if it's all the way off and then it's all the way on, there's a bit of a rush of air and it changes how the fuel flows, how the suspended fuel flows through the intake a bit.
So if
And
someone
it'll
wanted,
whistle too. It'll whistle really weird.
oh, nice. So if someone wanted to go in and change that from that default value of 5, do you know off the top of your head where they go to do that?
That'll be under tuning idle, and then you'll see step or minimum step value, and you can bring it down just a little bit more. Don't go to 0, like 2 is the lowest I'd go. And this really depends on the engine, because I never idle my stuff down to 5. If you got a big, if it's at 5, adjust your blades and look for vacuum leaks.
Good to know, good to know.
This 5 is going to be your minimum value, so it's like trying to push even further than that because it's got too much air and it's trying to shut everything. Make sure your secondaries aren't cracked open too far. Occasionally I'll see like somebody will get one fresh out the box and they'll send it back in because they're having a nightmare with trying to get the IAC to work right, and we realize that the secondary has been cranked all the way open because they're trying to get the idle correct, and they went all the way around.
Adjusted too far?
Yeah, they were way over adjusted. So.
Good to know. Ezra has another question. Any PWM fuel pump controllers?
That is a good subject. So the PWM stuff we are doing a little bit more stuff with PWM because we're dealing with boost control applications right now. And for the PWM, like fan control, fuel pump, and oil, and some of the LT stuff, that will be a realistic thing that we're going to have to handle. So that is technology that we're going to be forced into Even though we want to do it, it's like, hey, by the way, if we're going to be doing this, we have to do this too. Because like if we're doing with an LT motor, that's a pulse width fuel pump, and it has to be from like 40 to 70 psi, variable by RPM and load and all kinds of wild stuff. So yeah, we will have to do that. Whether it's a standalone controller or we build it into whatever the next system is, that's something that realistically you can probably look in the crystal ball there and realize that yeah, we're going to have to do that regardless.
Yep. And I think a lot of our features too, a lot of it's going to come from requests or
That's where everything comes from.
yeah.
Everything that I send up, it's either because somebody called in and says, why don't you guys do this? Or I see a comment, it's like, why don't you guys do this? Or I'm at a show and somebody says, why don't you guys do this? I'm like, that's a great point, thank you. And
Yeah.
even in these live sessions and Tech
Yeah.
Tuesdays, like I go back through and I make notes and I send a pretty solid email about just the really good stuff, like the 8HP thing. I have an amazing amount of information, and I've already purchased one for personal usage, but that's not saying it won't be a test item at some point, because I'll probably put it in some
True.
hot rod, and it was like, we got a new module for that, and we're going to look into it and then, do what we do.
Yes, sir. So definitely keep sending us y'all's feedback and different things you want to
Please.
see, features you want to see in the software or functionality you want to have in the systems as well. Or if you want the video on Tech Tuesday to not be sideways, let us know there.
Oh, man, this is great. If you're in an easy chair right now and you have your phone kicked sideways, we've got you set up. So, or if you're in your office and telling everybody you're working hard, but you're actually watching us live on Tech Tuesday, that's even better.
Yes.
I mean,
I wonder if there's a way we can do captions on here next time.
well, you can do them post-production.
Post-production?
Yeah, so
Not live?
if we had like a terrible intro and all kinds of stuff, like, yeah.
Or if I got a phone call during the Tech Tuesday and
That's
so it
what-
cut off and then it didn't have any sound.
That's what messed up the sound is Josh got a phone call and it just,
Yes. So
Done.
nobody hit my line so that way we don't have to restart the Tech Tuesday.
oh, check this out. Mine's been doing its thing for a spell
I
while
know.
we're sitting here.
Alrighty. Dr. Sharp asks, I also use a four-hole spacer with your special gasket. Does this matter at all when I start the engine? Or should I worry about that can on the high roller?
I wouldn't worry about the cans. 4-hole spacers are great because it's going to help with air velocity depending on the style of intake you're running, whether it's a dual plane with a little clipped out section in the middle or it's a single plane or what have you not. Spacers are great. I love spacers. And not only that, but it also helps in some cases with linkage geometry. So if you got a stiff pedal, you can sometimes raise it up and ease that, for the Ford guys out there. I'm going to be
No
on
hate, no
the-
shade.
I'm putting together my Fox body right now, so I'm going to be banging on some Ford stuff for a while because it's fun.
And there we go.
Twin turbo LS Fox body with a Nissan transmission.
Is that what we have it here or is it something different? Are you talking about yours?
Mine.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, our Fox body needs a little TLC before it makes an appearance in any videos.
I'm glad you brought the Fox body up, Josh. So what we're doing is back in my area of Destiny in the new R&D building, we have a dyno and a lift. This year, I will be, if you don't see me on Tech Tuesday for whatever reason, there's a good chance that I'm either doing training with somebody or I'm on the dyno banging out some new calibrations because I'm going to run through every system, every combination I could put on something, and I'm going to try to spin those cars apart. I'm going to get some great fuel calibrations done. That way, when you guys go to buy these things and you put them on your hot rod, you got a small block 302 or a small block 350, and you're just trying to get your Tri-5 up and running out the weeds, you hit the key. There's no lean bug. There's no weird fuel map in the middle. There's no weird fuel map at the top. There's a solid idle that's going to work across a lot of platforms, and it's going to be called the stock table. So when you hit that key, you're at 90% of where you need to be. That way, our advanced fuel strategy, or self-learning as it's known in the industry, turns into like it ain't got to do that much work. So you put a fat hot cam in there. Well, guess what? I got a big block in a Camaro back there, as you guys have seen. That I'll be using Fusion, multi-port, Kill Shot 2, some OG stuff, and other variations of it. So
Some new stuff.
all the new stuff. So yeah,
New stickers.
I've done a certain amount of things, and now I'm into that. That's what I'm doing.
Yes, sir.
And we'll.
Only cool stuff.
Well, the cool thing is my boss is like, if we break it, it's ours to break. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. So obviously we got some engine money somewhere. So
Some McDonald's money.
yeah. I want a
Speaking of
Coyote.
which, if you hear my stomach growling, it's because I'm starving. So just never mind that.
You eat food, human.
On occasion. Alrighty. Joseph Simon 4216 says, I've got a wildcard set up on a small block Chevrolet and it is running very well. My question is, I have never had the IAT hooked up and wondered if it's really necessary or leave well enough alone.
We don't do any kind of calculations off the air intake temp sensor yet in a lot of our systems. So whenever it falls redundant, it airs itself out in the background through all the Boolean values. So it says, hey, it's not plugged in. We're not going to do nothing with it anyways.
Yeah.
And currently in our calibration, we don't rely on air intake temperatures. When we get more into boosted stuff, we will be diving into that more, because then it comes into retarding a little bit of timing, depending on air temperature and how much boost you're running. So currently, not doing nothing with it.
So more of an auxiliary thing right now, intended for some future stuff that we got coming.
Yeah, and if you got it on your handheld and it's flipping back and forth from -40 to 170 or whatever it is, just pick something else and put it in a spot. It's pretty easy.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, if you want to hook it up, cool. If you don't want to hook it up, you're good to do.
Perfect.
Even in the future, it'll be just, does it have it? No. Yes. So
Easy enough. Ezra says hi. Dr. Sharp says, I did get the new 8-inch display. It is in the mail. Hope
Big
it
fan.
be as great as you guys claim.
I don't even have one yet. So
Of your personal?
nah, I don't have one.
Mm.
I've
Santa
got
didn't bring you one?
no, I didn't get one from Santa. No, I've got a 5-inch display with no serial number on the back, and it's like monochrome. It's so OG.
Black and white.
When you turn it on, the Aces logo is red.
Oh yeah, like the OG one.
Yeah. You gotta
It's
think
had
all the stuff I installed, like when I first started the Aces, is still out and running. Like
Yep.
I've never needed to update anything. I've used my personal truck for testing, but when it comes back to, I'm gonna go haul some sheetrock in my 1-ton, like it goes back in there and it's just the OG original 5-inch handheld. Me and Ben did a video about that.
I gotcha. Let's see here. Yes, we are for the people.
Absolutely. That's what drives me.
We're for. All right, Charles Moyer 2729 asks, do you have an ETA on the fuel level for the Jackpot 1? Also, will the 7-inch handheld ever be able to data log and return to gauges while data logging? Interesting.
Yes, it should. We did a
To the
massive
second
update.
question?
Yeah, to the
Oh.
second question. Yeah, the fuel level on the Jackpot 1, I know they're still doing that because they're adding some other features like trace function and a lot of other systems. And this is part of that email chain that I send on a regular basis, because we got a list of stuff that's like the desired things that people would like and things we want here and things that are realistic sometimes. So we're going through those items one at a time. It just takes literally reassigning engineers from one project to come over here to fix this and then go back to the other thing that we're working on. So that's you know, you guys that know, that's kind of how that works. We have a huge, amazing team of very brilliant engineers, but we got them all employed and we got them all busy. So
Yes, sir.
they're great to talk to.
I think it's maybe going back to the previous question that Elvis had. It says idles around 11 to 1200. Is that? Adult
1100,
says
1200.
adults.
You
but-
got an air intake leak, bro. You got something leaking. So
Scrolling back
he
here
was
real
he was
quick.
on about that
the
negative.
the
yeah,
idle thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you got an intake leak somewhere. It could be your actual intake itself. If you got a buddy with a smoke checker, you want to go buy one of the cheap
That's what I was
Harbor
gonna
Freight
say.
ones, you can do that. The carb cleaner trick that we all used to use back in the day on carburetors, fuel injection isn't so sensitive to that, because you could have a very obvious leak and hit it with a brake cleaner and it doesn't care that much. It's just going to keep doing exactly what it's doing, because it's going to be fast and it's going to fight it, whereas a carburetor would be like, whoa, what's this? Let's idle it up some here.
So it can't respond as quickly to it, so it's more noticeable in a carb.
It's going to cover it up some in it, fuel injection. 'Cause
gotcha.
fuel injection is working off of variable parameters that's trying to keep on target, whereas carburetor is you set it and that's what it's set for. And
Makes
then
sense.
any kind of outside influences it does not compensate for.
Yeah, because the carburetor is not using an O2 sensor, so it's not going to know
No.
any values to adjust based off of, unless you have an AFR module.
I was right about Jeffrey is the old English spelling for it. That's facts.
Ah, nice. I do apologize if I mispronounced it at first. We'll get to that one in a second. I'm skipping ahead. Aero Transit Inc. Will the Royal Flush have a dual quad version?
Well, that's a solid hit right there.
I believe that the Royal Flush, I want to say, because we use the same throttle body for the Royal
That's-
Flush. I know it's obviously a calibration
That's a real
thing, but
probability right there, actually.
yeah,
I don't see why not.
yeah. Because we're doing it for the Killshot 2 system right now, and it uses the same throttle body, and as long as you've got the calibration for it, seems simple enough.
Yeah, well, a lot of how our dual quad works is there's a set calibration for a primary throttle body, and then secondary throttle body is working off an extra set of injectors, and
Mhm.
we have a lot of other sensors in it. And what it's doing is it's looking at the difference between these injector drivers and those injector drivers and setting up a ratio. So when you're tuning one, it keeps this other one within the same ratio, no matter what you're doing with the fuel. And if you want to offset it, one's richer or leaner or what have you not, then you can adjust that in the software itself. That's how we balance the dual quad. With Royal Flush add-on like that, I think it's a reasonable thing to send the big ask up of should we?
Mm.
Because if you're wanting to put down extra spark, it makes a lot of sense to do that too.
Mm. That reminds me of another question. A lot of people have asked recently at shows and stuff if we're gonna, since we're doing the dual quad setup, a lot of people want to do like 3.2s, right? Do we think that is a possibility in the future?
Those are all custom throttle bodies for this industry. So our stuff is a lot of universal, but when it comes into like the Tri-Power stuff, where you got 3 two-barrel carburetors, it's not just 3 2300 flange carburetors.
Yeah.
They're actually
More special
quite a
setup.
distance. So you got a primary and you got secondaries in that format.
Mm.
Even works like that, even in fuel injection, even though it has an injectors. If that's something we're going to do, it'll probably be later in the market, I guess is a good way to say it.
Makes
Because
sense.
we have other things, 8 HP projects and 6-speed stuff and other 4-speed
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
on transmissions and other ECUs and other adaptations to these ECUs with peripheral CAN items we're going to add in. So if we're going to do that, it's going to be a thing of literally we get down the whiteboard and we're like, let's
Gotta
look
figure
at
out the
this-
highest
Let's look
priority
at
items.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
Because
sense.
that's a smaller market. It's a very specialized market. I only know of one place that actually still does Tri-Power carburetor setups,
Mm.
like actually overhauling them, build them, having parts for it, and that's up in the New England area.
All right. We'll see then. Bert the C10 says jackpot TBI on quick throttle snaps, falls on its face. I've adjusted the acceleration versus TPS, but it did not help. Would adding push air help or anything
Yes.
else that I should look at?
Adding push air will help this. That's part of the air fuel ratio, not for the O2 sensor, but how much air to fuel is going in whenever you have a quick throttle snap. That'll help out with lean bog in most TBI systems. When it comes to the jackpot TBI, that's going to fuel a little bit weirder because you're on an LS motor, which was meant for multi-port injection, and you're putting a throttle body way up on the intake. So the geometry of the engine was actually designed around a whole different configuration. You could still do it and make it run great, but you're going to have to tune some stuff, and it's probably going to find more benefit in adjusting the fuel tables and actually getting rid of certain modifiers for fueling as well. That way it's not a situation where it's hyper lean then hyper rich and then it falls on its face and then drowns itself and then fuels itself up and then you're like, oh, my O2 sensor's going crazy again, or there goes another set of plugs. But yeah, so.
But since it's got the TBI version of the jackpot, it should work out more so in his favor.
It'll work out, but you will have to do some tuning on that. And I think what you're going to find out of it, that quick snap falling on its face, is go in your low RPM area straight up to the top of the table and add some fuel in right there, and then with your acceleration correction actually reduce that. If anything over 130 is generally a bit too much for acceleration correction on that anyways. So between 90 and 130 is where I like to keep it, but I'll modify the actual VE table itself up high so that whenever it goes to atmospheric pressure up to the top of the table, it has to have adequate fuel. There's also a TPS, or rate of change coefficient value, for map and throttle position as well that will help accelerate that rate of change. That way, whenever it does do acceleration enrichment or correction, that it actually calculates it faster, because normally it's you snap the throttle, it sees it, it thinks about it, then it does it. And that little seeing and thinking about it thing is where that gap comes in of, I ain't got enough fuel for this. Reed said, "Rar."
He said the camera is also sideways.
Tell him to stay at his desk.
That's what I'm going to do. All right.
You're his boss.
Correct. All right. So, yes, Jeffrey's Old English spelling for Jeffrey. Thanks for the tips. Never paid attention to the Ike before it went out, so I was unsure.
Oh,
No
got a
worries.
Bridgeport guy. Man. Hey, you guys, just got my Fusion. I'm going to install it on my Bridgeport at 13B rotary race engine. That's what I'm talking about. We haven't delved very deep into the 13 rotary stuff. We did a little bit of 12A stuff. We're kind of working out a project on that. That comes down to how many engineers can we throw at it. But I have a
You got a
13B as
few.
well. Actually got a few. Most of them have bad apex seals, but that just keeps them from rusting, right? You're going to find in that 13B, whenever you're trying to get the ignition strategy worked out, that you're going to have a dual set of coils set up. Some people switch it over to one, but I like to run both, and it's a leading trailing situation. But what you'll run into on that as well is that the RPM count is going to be a little bit off.
Mm.
But luckily, in our newer systems, you can pick whether it's a 4, 6, or 8-cylinder engine, which is going to help that. Is going to help that out. Because you think every revolution of a rotary engine is 1, 2, 3 firing cycles.
Yes,
So it's
makes sense.
funny like that. It acts like a two-stroke.
I'd like us to get into some rotary stuff. We had several people ask. We're looking at doing some projects
It's coming
Uh,
up, yeah. It's
potentially here soon. So rotary engines are cool. Brianna says, will you be offering Dodge Magnum intake in the future? Also with the Magnum style bypass hose, not the LA, for use with accessory bracket.
right. Fair point. There is an intake that we're looking at the manufacturer that is a dual drilled multi-purpose intake that'll handle both LA and Magnum engines. That's part of a conversation that they're having over at the manufacturer right now for being able to adopt that. So instead of us only offering stuff for like an LA, having at least a dual drilled, that's going to help out a lot of the market. Now for the accessory bracket bolting, we'll have to see which style intake is going to have that appropriately. So
Yes. Also, I read your name as Brianna. I realize that's probably Brian. Once again, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Tyson, also just skipping ahead to some comments. Yes, we know the camera is rotated 90 degrees. It's currently an issue with live streaming from a phone. Our condolences. I have a Killshot 1 and I'm running the High Roller Pro with a 7-inch, and every time I click on the High Roller system, it always says I'm offline, and note that I got the 5-inch. Yet again, the High Roller system.
So when you are plugged into so if you're plugged into the CAN cable on the High Roller, it should communicate just fine.
Is there going to be a difference between, so with the High Roller class, oh no, it is the High Roller Pro, never mind.
Yeah, you have to run a splitter on that so that you have to have both systems plugged in so that whenever you select like the Killshot or you select the High Roller, it'll communicate to whatever, because it's CAN
Makes sense.
communication. It's not, there's no other lines of communication in there.
Gotcha. So saying like using the splitter like the CAN bus, or the splitter like in the...
The CAN bus splitter.
Okay,
Because if it's not plugged into the High Roller, it's not going to communicate with it.
makes sense. So you got to have either one or the other without the splitter, or with the splitter you could have both of them plugged in and then be able to switch seamlessly back and forth.
Oh, I have a Killshot 1. I'm running a High Roller with a 7-inch screen. Every time I look at the High Roller player that says I'm offline, I might have also have a 5-inch that came with. Plug in the other handheld and select the High Roller. You could just have a bad CAN communication chip in that 7-inch. They're not hard to switch, actually. But yeah, if there was a... Those things are sensitive to voltage, so if you had some weird voltage happen at some point, it could have smoked that handheld. But that's also something you can call us about.
And we can definitely look into it for you. Reed is watching the live stream on the clock. Which non-ACES distributor works best with the Killshot? I've heard there are issues with HEI and Unilite. Is that how you say that? I want something
No.
electric.
No,
I can add
HEI
timing
is a
control.
solid unit. Those old Mallorys, they're noisy, so they can send false RPM signals, which makes it really fuely.
Yeah.
Because there's a threshold it has to meet when it's reading the RPM signal, and if it's just, it's going to read extra RPMs and do a lot of wild stuff while it's running. So you'll see like 750 RPMs, 15,000, 750, 3,000, 750, 0, 750.
What about the, because I know a lot of the, like, I know people use MSD, or is it Hyperspark, I think, is one that
Yeah.
is out there. The Pertronix one, though. I know one works and one doesn't, right? Isn't there something, or was that ever
There's 3 different
fixed?
ones.
Or, okay.
So there's a Igniter 1, Igniter 2, and Igniter 3. Igniter 1 is something set up for old school stuff. Igniter 2 is set up for aftermarket fuel injection. Even it says it in the documents. Igniter 3 is a multi-spark setup, which does not play nice with aftermarket fuel injection. So if you're going to go Pertronix, go with that Igniter 2 unit. It's compatible with our chipsets, as more friendly for it. It doesn't send extra RPM signals, and also not like the Igniter 1, where it likes to, if you leave your key on too long, it lights your coil on fire. Because it just constantly
Yes.
does its thing, whereas a Igniter 2 is the best. Just like if you're running like a MSD Blaster 2 coil and the actual Pertronix igniter coil, those were made for fuel injection.
Yes. Lighting your coil on fire.
Yeah, well, it didn't really light it on fire. It just gets it really hot, and then it just pushes the top off of it, and then all the juices come out.
As it does.
Cost you $50, sometimes a little bit more than that. But
What is up, gentlemen? How are you young men doing today? Thank you for getting back to me about the sponsorship. Putting the list of stuff together I'm going to do for my build for SEMA. Sweet. We will definitely be taking a look at that.
I'll get this one. This one was challenging. Salem
Yeah.
computer, rotate your camera. You guys are 90 degrees rotated. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
We've gotten that one a
Sitting
couple
sideways.
times.
That's my favorite so far.
It is.
Top comment. Your phone
I almost want to
sideways.
turn my laptop sideways because I keep looking over at the screen to see what's in frame, and yeah, it's not working out super well.
I think it makes my hair grayer.
I don't know. He said young men doing today, so I don't know.
Let's see what we got here.
Where do you hook up the TAC off the box, or does the Fusion have it already? From Dr. Sharp.
There should be a TAC output wire. If you're using that not MSD. Gosh, that's embarrassing. The high roller unit is going to have a gray TAC in wire. It should have a brown TAC out wire. Same thing with the Fusion as well. There should be a TAC in and a TAC out as well in the accessory harness. So if you're putting signal into it, like from an ignition box, TAC in. Mark it down to CDI if it's coming from a CDI box. If you're trying to run your gauges, there should be the brown TAC out wire.
Yeah, and the auxiliary harness is going to be that little bundle. It's like a sub harness with like a bunch of colorful
it's like
wires.
8 or 10 pin depending on what version you have.
Okay, makes sense. When is the Joker 2 going to be available? And also, will the Joker 1 harness plug right into the Joker 2?
Well, with the new schematic on the Joker 2, there's going to be a certain amount of cross compatibility that you should be able to plug in. It's going to be the same footprint, same box, and all that stuff with a bunch of upgrades, bigger, nastier chip in there. Does a lot of really good stuff. Still going to maintain the same output energy and everything. It's still going to be as solid as can be, being the Joker, because that's a unit. But yeah, there's going to be.
That's our timer. We'll keep going for a few more minutes.
It's my phone told us we're got to wrap this up.
It said it's lunchtime.
It says it's lunchtime.
I've got McDonald's money to spend.
Chick-fil-A.
Or that.
So anyways, back to that. Unless there's massive, crazy changes to the harness itself, I don't see where there wouldn't be an issue with cross-compatibility. Now, with these versus 1 versus 2 systems, things that were going on, one of the things I got to get with the media department on is literally putting first gen, second gen on the table and explaining what wires you need to change or wires you don't have to mess with and what's the differences and why they are or are not cross-compatible.
Nice. We'll send you guys some videos. Perfect. Thank you, sir.
I like that.
Switching the motor and changing to a 5.3 LS.
Suzuki Samurai chassis. Man, I put a really sweet turbocharged Toyota Tacoma motor in one of those once. So I made a lot of money on that job, actually. It was Samurai shaped, but it was really a tube chassis with like 20-something inches of suspension travel and a big nasty turbo motor with split case. And
But who's taking notes?
yeah, spent a lot of money on bead lockers.
There you go. We'll do a couple more questions. Hey guys, I did firmware update on my kill shot. Seemed to run good. Then I cleared my learn table and all went to hell in a handbasket. Went super rich. Had to reinstall my tune.
Did your O2 sensor pack it up? That's my question. Because if you're having an issue that's going to cause you to clear your learn data, something's causing you to do that, which I think it's probably going to be O2 sensor related. If it's running like a redundant value and thinking it's faulted out, or if it's reading unnecessarily lean when it's really not, then you might just have either a washed out O2 sensor, which you can dry it out, or you might just have a bad O2 sensor that's just fueled itself up and cracked the little ceramic inside.
And also, wouldn't it, if you're just starting from scratch, wouldn't it tend to also, like if you're going to start, if you erase your learn, if I'm understanding the comment correctly, if you erased your learn data and it's just going to start from scratch before you reinstalled your tune, it would make sense that it's going to behave a little bit erratically as it kind of figures itself out again, right?
Not so erratically, just more like if you haven't adjusted any kind of tables or offsets and you've cleared your learn, if it's pulled fuel out of it, it's just going to be rich again. Now, if
Until it adjusts itself.
Until it adjusts itself, yeah. So if you run into that where it is on the initial startup rich, go into tuning, go to fuel, and go to the offset table, the appropriate cam selection you have, and pull 10 or 20% out of there and see if it works good. Because if
Yeah.
you're running like a TBI setup, your pulse width is going to be 1.7 to 2.2 in that range, depending on your engine at idle. And if it's higher than that, go into that offset if you're not going to use a laptop to tune it, and just pull some fuel table offset out of it. You know, every 10 is 10%. So if it's at 80 and you put it at 70, you've pulled 10% out of the table. It's based on a value of 100. 100 being 0, which is not really, which it is. If that makes sense.
Yes. All righty, we'll do one more question. Well, one more comment, but it says 2 questions. So 2 questions. Where is the fast idle RPM adjustment? Question 2.
That's
Currently
timing.
cranking. Go into the timing setting.
Yeah, timing is fast idle adjustment.
Perfect. Currently cranking takes about 7 to 10 seconds before start. Advancing/retarding the start timing a few degrees has no change. Any suggestions?
Add more parked air versus ECT. Go into the parked air and idle, and go to parked air versus ECT, and add 30 points across the table on the whole thing, because it should be a 1D chart, and that's just going to give you extra air on startup, which is what you really might be needing, is a bit of extra air. So it's going to pull that pintle out on the IAC and actually allow a lot more air. If you have to throttle it to start it just a smidge, then add more parked air. If it's got like a long crank to it, make sure your timing is what your timing is, and then add more of that parked air to it, because during cranking, it's going to pull that pintle out, allow the airflow, and then ease itself into idle after that. That's where you get that start to flare and all those times, like the hold times on like, hey, I've started and I'm easing back into idle, versus long crank and then a stumble to idle.
Okay. So you'd go to settings. You say go to idle?
Yep.
Settings, idle.
So it'll be like tuning, idle, parked air versus ECT.
Okay.
So if you got a bit of a cam, you're going to have to do that. Just like if you're doing like say you got a 5th gen Camaro and you put a BTR stage 3 high lift, whatever, double whammy cam in there, and it starts awful, just add more starting air to it. Whereas ours is going to be more parked air, because that's your startup air, and idle, and like 5 other things.
Nice. All righty. And last comment I see here. Cool, I'm prepping my workbench. I'm about to remove my carb to start installing my Killshot 2 Pro on my 70 Maverick. Love to see it. You should definitely send us some pictures, some videos whenever you get it running, get everything installed. If you got any questions as you're going through that install process, definitely reach out to our team. So
also, I noticed it says J95 SVT. So is your Cobra white with the chrome rims, or did you not get the rims with it? Because mine had the rims, and it had like this dark brown interior, and I really missed that car because it was just sick.
So send us pictures of whatever you got.
Please.
We'd appreciate it. Alrighty, guys, that is all the time we've got for today, as lunch is calling our name. A couple things, though, for next week. We are going to be closed. This is this week, actually. So we're going to be closed Thursday for New Year's. But next week, Tech Tuesday, we are going to do a gift card giveaway. And I didn't tell you this beforehand. I should have, so surprise. So you guys are learning this together. So next week, we're going to choose someone who comments on the live next week. We're going to choose a random person and give them a $100 gift card. In the future, we may do more of those. We may do multiple, who knows. But it's an idea we kind of threw around. So make sure you check out the video next week. We'll probably do it, we will be doing it Tuesday. Time to be determined. I guess you need to have the notifications on for the channel. But yeah, we're going to choose a random commenter, and we will reach out to you and send you a $100 gift card towards whatever you want, I guess. Whether that's the cool Aces Cup, not that particular one, but
I don't know. Maybe I'll give this away one day. But
signed.
Here's the thing. So Josh is telling you to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit the bell for notifications.
All the above.
To improve your chances of getting this $100 gift card. Oh, the red
Saddle
one.
tan and chrome stock wheels.
Man, that's what I'm talking about. It's the same interior, but mine was white and clean.
Yes, sir. All right, guys.
I like the hood on that one. It's got these little.
There you go. You should still send us pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we've got for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I apologize for all the names that I mispronounced. I'm going to apologize in advance for the ones I'm going to mispronounce next week. Hopefully our video is not sideways next week. Hopefully you guys were able to rotate your phones or your computers or whatever device you're watching from. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next time on episode 106 of Tech Tuesday. Take care.
Bye now.
And I have to stop it from that. So.
Got to stop it from that. Hey,
Yes.
Josh is going to stop the thing. Awesome. So with this, I like this. That classic car guy.